Okay, guys, so now we're going to take a look at another way to solve a percent proportion, and we're going to call this a percent equation, because remember I said both sides of the proportion are equal, right? So, we're looking at an equation now. Okay, so what number is 24% of 50? All right, so what number is 24% of 50? That's our question. All right. So in setting this up, the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to set up our proportion, okay? And remember, is over of equals percent over 100. Always 100. Always, always, always 100. Okay, so let's fill it in. It says what number is... There's no number around the is because the 24 is definitely attached to the percent. There's nothing you can do. You can't separate that. So obviously I'm going to put the 24 over here. But what number is goes in the is, and that's our mystery number. That's our x. Okay? Of 50. All right, so I have filled it in. Okay, so our goal now is to get the x by itself. And the word for that is called isolate. We're going to isolate the x. Okay, so think about that. If you've ever heard the word isolate, it means something is separated. It's alone. If you're, perhaps maybe you're not behaving very well at home and your mom says, okay, you need to get away from your brothers and sisters because you keep picking on them. Go to your room. She's isolating you. She's getting you by yourself. So that's what we need to do. Our goal is to get the x by itself without all of this stuff, okay? And the way that we're going to do that is first, we are going to, sorry, I lost my page. We are going to, look at the equation and try and figure out, well, what is with the x? What's by the x? Well, what's by the x right now is a 50, right? That's the only number. Everything else is on the other side of the equal sign, so that's by itself too. But the x is over on this side of the equal sign, and you don't want that there. So what you would do is you have to do the opposite operation or the inverse operation in order to get rid of the 50. So if it, right now this is divide, right? Because it's a fraction. It's x divided by 50. But right now it's divide. In order to get rid of it and make it non-existent, I have to do the opposite operation. What's the opposite operation of division? It's multiply. So I have to multiply this side by 50. And if I do that to this side, then I have to do it to this side. So I'm going to multiply this side by 50. Okay. So remember, the 50 is over x, is over 1 on both times. 50 is over 1, okay? So if the 50 is over 1, I simply multiply, well, first I simplify, sorry. I simply simplify. 50 and 50 simplify to 1 and 1. Yes? Yes. Okay. So now I have 1 times x. That would be 1x. But we don't write 1x because 1 is kind of like if you have a car. You don't say, you say I have a car. You don't say I have 1 car. If you're holding a pen, you say I'm holding a pen. You don't say I'm holding 1 pen. So you just write x. If it's 1x, you just write x. Anything else, you have to put the number in front of it, but if it's 1x, it's x. All right? And then you're going to do the same thing on this side. So 50 and 100 simplify. This is a 1, and this becomes a 2. Now I'm multiplying straight across. I get 1 times 24 is 24, and 2 times 1 is 2. But remember, this is a top-heavy number, right? A top-heavy fraction. And if it's top-heavy, that means I can divide. So that means 2 goes into 24 12 times. So x equals 12, which means the answer to my problem is 12 is 24% of 50. Okay, so right now you're probably saying, oh my gosh, Mrs. Rodriguez, that is really, really confusing, and I don't understand why you're making me do all this because my head is starting to hurt. And that's okay. I'm about to show you the easiest way to do it, okay? So the easiest way, and this is kind of the fun way, we're going to use a new example problem, okay? Example is going to be 20% of what number is 18? Okay, first things first, my percent proportion. Is over of equals percent over 100. Okay, is over of equals percent over the 100. Now I got to fill in the rest, right? So 20%, it's attached. You can't separate it. It's definitely, that's my percent, 20. Of what number is 18? The is and the 18 are attached. So the 18 is the is. Of what number? That's my x. Okay. Now I set my proportion up. So this, remember what I said, this is the easiest way to do it. This is the way that we're going to practice doing it the most, okay? So I set it up. Set it up. 1, 2. Cross multiply. Cross multiply. Don't simplify. Just cross multiply. Cross multiply. Okay? So 20 times x equals 20x. Okay? I put my equal sign there because it's still there. And then cross multiply. 18 times 100 equals 1800. Then 3. Isolate my x. Okay, so I already told you have to get the x by itself, right? Well, 20x, what kind of operation is going on there? Whenever you have a number next to a letter, it means you're multiplying. If there's no sign in between the number and the letter, then you are multiplying. When you have a variable and there's a number attached to it, you're multiplying. You just don't know what that number is yet. We're about to. So if this is multiplying, what's the opposite operation? The opposite operation is division. Okay, so remember, division can be written as a fraction. So divide this side by 20, and then divide this side by 20, because if you do it to the left, you do it to the right. So 20 divided by 20 is 1x, but we don't write the 1, so it's just x. And 1800 divided by 20 is 90. X equals 90. So that means 20% of 90 is 18. And you know how I could check that really quick? 20 goes into 100% of 90 5 times. So 5 times 18 is going to give me 90. Okay, so this is our go-to way to solve all of our percent problems. So I'm going to show you really quick again. Ready? One more time. I'm going to reuse one of our problems. What number is 24% of 50? Okay, so what number is 24% of 50? I set up my proportion. Is over of equals percent over 100. Always 100 there, right? What number is? My is attached to the what number, so that means that's my x. 24%. 24 of 50. They're attached, so that's my 50. Okay, now I've already set it up. Now I cross multiply. X times 100 equals 100x. Then I have to do 24 times 50. I might have to do a little side math. And with this, I think it's okay for you to use a calculator. So 24 times 50 equals 1200. Now remember, I have to isolate my x, get it by itself. In order to do that, this is multiplication. X is 100 times x. So I'm going to divide. That's the opposite operation, it's the inverse. So if I divide 100x by x, what I'm left with is x. If I divide 1200 by 100, what I'm left with is 12. Remember before when we solved it using equivalent fractions? I had 12. 12. This is much faster and easier, I think. All right, so on your assignment today, I want you to practice using this method. Is over of equals percent over 100. Okay, really important to learn this. It is probably one of the best helping strategies for math in 6th grade. Is over of equals percent over 100 is one of the most helpful strategies. Alrighty guys, go practice. Is over of equals percent over 100. Is over of equals percent